Hello guys, so here we are back with another quadcopter review. This is the Hubsan X4. So this is another interesting quadcopter because this is actually the first one I've ever seen that's made out of all metal. That's right, every piece of this is actually metal except for this rubber landing gear right here, landing pad. All the rest of it's metal, you can definitely tell, and it's very, very heavy. So Hubsan has done an interesting... So they have done something very interesting with this. Aside from making it all metal, they actually upped the battery. This is a 240 milliamp battery, which is about 90 milliamps more than most drones of this size, like the Syma X13, the Syma X11. So 240 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery, which is much bigger. And when you pull it out of there, let's see, I'll show you guys. You can definitely tell that it is much bigger than most others. A little bit thicker, a little bit longer. It's 240 milliamp hours, kind of hard to tell. So definitely a little bigger than most batteries at this size. We'll see if I can get that back in there. And I have it in there the wrong way. Okay, well I'll just leave it out for now. I think I kind of get why they made it bigger. Why they made it out of metal and up the motor size and up the battery. I noticed that bigger quadcopters, they handle much better in the wind outside, so maybe that has something to do with it. There has to be a reason why they made it all metal with bigger, everything. It's kind of like adding, a 500 horsepower engine to a giant Bentley. And of course it's got all the features that most all other quadcopters have this size. Rolls, flips, 2.4 gigahertz RC series transmitter, USB charge, flies outdoor. Look at that, it's letting you know that there are flies outside flying around, and there are flies in the dark. Okay, so one thing you need to remember, unfortunately inside the micro quadcopters, you can't really take the batteries out of those things, but you can take them out of, quadcopters like this and all the Syma series, and most of the, basically most drones that you can take the battery out of. You need to inspect it every now and then, because I actually have a 500 milliamp, no, a 650 milliamp, it's dropping, it's not gonna help, and throwing it, a 600 milliamp battery for my Syma X5C that kind of blew out, kind of expanded out, and kind of flared out a little bit. Those are pretty much trash. You do not want to use those. Of course, you guys, if you're watching this, you probably already know, but if your lithium battery starts to flare out and kind of bulge out a little bit, it's definitely ruined, which means these cells inside there have failed and created some pressure somehow. Not an expert on how it works, but I do know enough about lithium batteries to understand that that is definitely not good. I don't even have to get on forums to know that that's bad, so if it flares out like that, not like this, but if it flares out, then you definitely don't want to use it anymore. There we go, sorry. It's kind of hard to tell, but this battery is nice and flat, the top one, and the bottom one is definitely all flared out, so I may just blow this thing up outside or something. So I kind of like to mix it up and get quadcopters with bad reviews and some with good reviews, just to see how bad the actual bad review ones are. But the Hubsan X4 is not on that list because the X4 does have very good reviews on Amazon. So I would definitely recommend getting it. I like the transmitter because it seems like it fits in your hand nice and perfect. I don't like those little tiny ones. So here's the transmitter. Looks kind of like a older PlayStation controller or Xbox controller. Actually, it looks nothing like that. But I like these bigger ones because obviously they fit in your hand much better. I got relatively large hands, so those little tiny, transmitters, it's kind of hard to fly them sometimes. And so when you have one like this, it definitely helps out quite a bit. So that's good. So it's pretty cool. I don't have the battery in there, so I can't show you right this second. But it's kind of cool because on the transmitter, turn it on and you link it up with the quadcopter. It has a percentage on the screen. Tells you what your throttle is, so as you go higher, the percentage on the throttle goes up. So it's pretty cool. You can actually kind of glance at your screen and see how hard you have on the throttle. Oops. Okay. Now trimming, it's great because factory, you don't really have to trim it much as soon as you turn it on, which is good. Most of those little cheaper ones, actually most of the ones that I have, as soon as you turn it on, you have to keep trimming it. And by the time you've finally trimmed it out good, you've already wasted a minute and a half of your fly time. So this one's great that you don't really have to do it. It's kind of already trimmed as it is, as the factory. So okay. So that's cool, little police light feature. They only have like one red and one blue. It'd be cool. Of course, all this flashing and the lights stops whenever you sync it up, but it's just doing this to try to sync up with the transmitter. Kind of, these things are actually really, really bright, and I'm kind of wondering why they had the LEDs facing upwards instead of downwards toward the ground. I think so it can, when you're flying at night, you can actually see the propellers illuminated from the blue and red LEDs.